Hi, beautiful mamas, and welcome back to the podcast. As you heard in the bio, today's episode, just sit down wherever the fuck you are, grab your coffee, because it's worth your time. You don't need to multitask during this one. But my special guest, Lauren Degolia, she and I are actually in a certification program together, but we found each other and felt super connected. And I'm so excited for y'all to meet her. She is an incredible badass, and you're going to hear all about her story and how she's going to share everything with you and help you become a badass. But she's a chief expansion officer, and we're going to dive into that first because that's how you identify yourself. And I want everybody to know exactly what that is. So please take the mic and introduce yourself to everybody.
Hello, mamas. I'm so happy to be here and talk about badassery and expansion. It's like my favorite topic. I could talk about it all day. And I think you have to be a badass if you're looking for your next level of expansion. Like it's a prerequisite. And I kind of started this journey that I'm on reading You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero, like back in the day. And I was like, oh yeah, this is me.
This is me.
And I call myself your chief expansion officer because I think everyone needs that advisor at their table, their boardroom of life, helping to provide guidance, insights, both practical and maybe not so practical, in a way that feels like approachable and doable. And so my special Spidey skill is I have married the energetics of astrology with now the powerful subconscious conscious tooling of your mind to help you create a more expansive life that feels more like you.
Okay, we're going to talk about this for a little bit because I've dabbled a little bit in astrology. It's very dense. It's a lot of information.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you have any pull to it, I say listen to that. You're being pulled for a reason. And it could be that confirmation that you need to finally say, oh, right, okay. Now I understand why I am the way I am. And I felt like once I started to learn about astrology, I could embrace my quirks a little bit and not try to filter and shift because I understood that that's kind of my makeup. So how do you marry that? If you're working with somebody, how do you marry the astrology with the conscious and subconscious? I guess, how are you fitting this into somebody's everyday life?
Well, I'm starting with something that I call the cosmic cheat code.
Okay.
And let's just give the mamas a breakdown of what basic astrology is.
Great.
And why my flavor of it is very different and a more simple approach to all the cosmic chatter that is out there.
Oh, good.
So, first of all, I really only give two shits about your sun, your moon, and your rising sign. My moon sign was the thing that cracked me open. In the depths of a major identity shift, and we can talk about that. I know you have some of that planned for our time together. But your sun sign is your external energy. It's how you identify in the world. And a lot of astrology has been canned as this personality test or generality test where it puts us in a box with everyone else. And that's not the point. I'm sorry to burst the bubble here, but that's not the point of this work. So I'm a Capricorn sun, which means like I do really well in boardrooms. I do really well having a high standard of excellence. I do really well with standards and process and being really grounded, especially in the workplace. And truly, like, that's what burnt me out from Nordstrom Corporate after 6 years of grinding hardcore.
Yeah.
On the inside, your moon sign, which is the more feminine part of you, is how your internal dialogue goes. So sun, moon, right? Moon sign is directly connected to your subconscious mind.
No
It's
way.
how you
Love it.
process your emotions.
Okay.
So I have tried, and I'm not joking, I consider myself a somewhat intelligent woman that has done a lot of cool shit in her life, but I have tried for 4 years to get these two concepts to marry together. And it wasn't until Anchored and these last like 6 months of being like, I'm going to figure this out, that I was really able to like make it stick. So I've created this like intro to how this works together. And one concept that I have really taught for a number of years now, which is this concept of energetic neutrality. And I wove that into a 7-day private podcast experience within the Cosmic Cheat Code. So I've written a decoding guide for all 12 moon signs.
Okay.
Do you know your moon sign, sis?
Um, there's a Pisces in there somewhere, but I
I
think
would
that's
I
sun.
would
I don't know.
believe. Okay. Well, when's your birthday? I can tell you what your sun sign is.
Oh, okay. October 20th, 1976.
So
I
you're
think
probably a Libra sun.
okay.
I
Okay.
have a moon sign calculator actually that my husband, who's an engineer, wrote for me. You can just go to
Stop.
I know, we're such nerds.
I love it.
Moon.beyondyourhoroscope.com because I want people to stop reading their fucking horoscopes. Like it's a waste of time. You're waiting for an external something to validate you. Like we're not doing that anymore. We're creating our reality, our expansion with our own free will, and we're going to stop subscribing to that side of the woo-woo conversation.
Great. Love
Great.
it. I'm game. I'm game for that.
So we know our sun now, we know our moon now. And if you want to start seeing yourself and the reality that you're living in every single day, start looking at how your moon sign shows up in your conversations, in your work life, in your interpersonal relationships, and how you're talking to yourself every day and how you're feeling about yourself every day, about how you feel what's possible. And so Cosmic Cheat Code, which is kind of my intro. This is me. This is what I do. This is how I do it. I'll let you drop the link in the show notes below.
Yeah.
$45, but really like I want every woman in the world to know this part of herself in a practical, applicable way. And then your rising sign, sorry to interrupt you. I know
No,
you're going to jump in there. Your
I'm
rising
excited.
sign is what I call your cosmic growth edge. So when we talk about our big three, like leaning into the energy of what your rising sign wants you to learn about yourself, like that's also an interesting conversation. I don't over index on that. I'm like really just want people to tune into the moon because of like two main reasons. Number one, what I just told you about emotions. And number two, the moon is flowing through our life every single day.
Right.
And the full moon and the new moon are cosmic checkpoints that you can just take a hot second to be like, where am I at?
Yeah.
What am
Where
I
am I
doing?
at?
What do I need? Which we don't
What a
do.
great what a great tool for a busy as shit mom who is out of practice checking in with herself.
Mhm,
This is a great way and you have a reminder, right? Like, "Oh
mhm.
shit, I forgot to check in with myself. The moon is in my face. Let me go figure this out." And, you and I we're in anchored together and just tied to what we've learned, that 95% of what we're doing is controlled by our subconscious. Isn't it nice to get to know your subconscious a little bit better? And
Yes,
you
it
just
is.
gave us a great way, a cheat code to do that, right?
Yeah.
That's our moon sign to really get to know that version of us that is literally not interested in external validation, right? It's from the core. So,
Yeah.
and I mean, I get a lot of moms who tell me, I don't have any time, I'm too busy, and they're on autopilot. This is a nice way to kind of hit the brakes on that and just check in with yourself.
Yeah, so
So,
the 7-day podcast experience that is the Cosmic Cheat Code is like 10 to 13 minutes a day. There's one day that's 16 minutes that you can literally plug in while you're driving between errands, while you're getting yourself ready.
okay.
And every day covers a different topic. And you literally can use it week over week if
We,
that feels supportive to you to just
yeah.
continue to glean insights and awareness and neutrality about the things that are feeling really dense in your life.
Amazing. So once they have access to the podcast, they have access to it and they can keep replaying it. That's
Yep.
beautiful. And she's always walking, she's always driving, she's making, she's folding laundry, just
Mhm.
toss in your AirPods and you
Yep.
could listen to it, which I think is okay. I'm going to put all the links in the show notes. So as you are discovering astrology, like and you're understanding your own cosmic chart and you're understanding your own cheat codes,
Mhm.
did this help you make peace with who you are? And where did this come in your life in relation to you becoming a mom and being a part of Nordstrom Corporate? I feel like you've had a couple of massive Stonehenge level pillars in your life. Where did
Yeah.
astrology squeeze its way in there?
I mean, it was the thing that saved me,
Okay.
truly. So,
Hmm.
let's just back up to mom Lauren, which was now 13 and a half years ago. It's hard to imagine I have a
Mom
teenager
Lauren.
walking this earth. Um, I always have felt a sense of intuition about myself, like a knowingness, right?
Mhm,
But
mhm,
I
mhm.
think my current Facebook, because I'm not really on there anymore, says the only thing I really believe is in duct tape. Because I wasn't ever really super religious. I have a very Catholic mom. Um,
Yeah.
and like I subscribed to that, and then I didn't subscribe to that at 12 years old. And then like I had a kid, and I was like, wow, like
Hmm.
this is a whole new world. And I ended up with pretty severe postpartum depression.
Okay.
And it was kind of the first part of me that experienced an emotional surge. I would call it an emotional surge like that. Breastfeeding
Mm.
was really fucking hard for me.
Yep.
And, um, I didn't have a sense of my spirituality or belief then. And, looking back, I wish I did. So
Hmm.
fast forward just a few years, got through that, landed my dream job at Nordstrom Corporate. I had many people in Seattle and within actually Nordstrom senior leadership that were like, Lauren, your skills aren't transferable here. And I was like, oh, okay. She was the head of
Okay.
talent management at the time. And we met at our mom's group. So picture this. I'll just rewind for a hot sec. So corporate Lauren had no idea, like no moms that were friends that were moms. And so we signed up for this thing that's been a revolutionary program in Seattle for, let me just add 13 years. We'll go with 38 years because it was like 25 years when we first started, called PEPS, pregnancy and early parenting. And essentially, it's like parenting 101. You get like stuck in a cohort with people and you have a leader and they walk you through for 12 weeks in early parenthood. So the group that we got into had all of our kids were within like 3 weeks of each other. They were all born within
Wow.
3 weeks. So PEPS is like fantastic. And to this day, we are still part of our PEPS group
Are
13
you
and a half years.
really?
Yeah, they're
That's
amazing people and I
amazing.
adore them. Um,
Ah.
but so we sit down for this intro session where it's like all of Seattle, you're coming from all different neighborhoods of Seattle.
Mm.
And I sit
Hmm.
down next to this woman and she's lovely. And her last name is Lauren. And so we kind of connect on that. And like, I don't look pregnant at that point, and she doesn't really look pregnant at that point. We're like, why are you here? And then we're like, oh, we're both pregnant. Isn't that so cute? And she's like, oh, yeah, I work for Nordstrom, blah, 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 blah. And like, we make this instant connection, like instantaneous. And
Love it.
and she's like, yeah, at that time I was in biotechnology. I used to work in drug manufacturing and device manufacturing from a quality assurance perspective, which is like so nerdy compared to kind of what I do
No.
now. So she's like, you're never going to get a job there. I'm like, cool. Thank you so much for that. I totally understand how people can't see the translation of skills. So, our friendship kind of buds over the course of our first year of motherhood together. She's in a different PEPS group than I am. Our PEPS group gets going. We're in the trenches of new momhood.
Okay.
I'm in the trenches of postpartum.
Hmm.
Somehow, as we all do, we make it through.
Mm-hmm.
And by the
Mm-hmm.
time my kid's like 2 or 3, I had an intro into Nordstrom Corporate. So here I am. Like, I remember screaming in my garage, like, oh my God, I did it. And it was like literally one of those things that the universe was like, how did that happen? Because no,
how, how did she elbow me out of the way? Hold on. I was not paying attention.
I was like, wait, people were like half asleep in my interview. And like, it was like all these weird things. And then they called and they're like, we'd like to offer you a position. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Um, and so I started drinking the Kool-Aid. And I started and I had this little tiny kid at home, 2.5 years old, 3 years
Mm.
old. My mom was my full-time caregiver. And I was like, I am going to make something of this opportunity. Like, I am running with this dream situation. So fast forward 5.5 years, got to fly on private jets, worked elbow to elbow with some of the Nordstrom brothers, had an amazing opportunity. Went to a gala, was very
You were
integral
in
within
it. You
I
were
was
in
in
it.
it. I
You were
was
in
learning
it.
technology. Oh, and
Okay.
by the way, I was learning how to be a technologist at the same time, which, I mean, that was never on my bingo card of life to
Yeah.
become. I'm married to an engineer, but I'm like, this is what? And even my husband, when I was like, yeah, I'm going to go do this, he's like, you're going to do what? And so, I made it. Like, I figured out how to do it and I made it, and I got really gritty. And you know what I also got is super fucking burnt out.
Yeah.
I work 60-hour to 70-hour to 80-hour weeks. I commuted an hour each way to downtown Seattle. I subscribed to all the toxic corporate BS stuff. I
Mm, mm.
remember I would get in an Uber. So again, this is like almost 10 years ago, right? So I was also doing like all the internal stuff. And at one point, my OB/GYN was like, hey, Lauren, I think you need some mental health support on board here. Like, I think something it would be helpful for you to talk to someone. Here's a
Okay.
list.
Okay.
because I would just go and I would cry.
Cry.
Like I would just cry. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't like, what am I doing wrong? Because it must be me doing something wrong if I can't cut it in this environment. And I constantly feel like I'm being cut down like all the time. So got a therapist and
Okay.
I would sit there and say, please just tell me how to surrender. Please just
Mm.
tell me how to put the knives down. Like I'm so tired of fighting.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Mhm. And she'd
Hmm.
look at me. She's still my therapist to this day. And she'd look at me and she's like, well, we're going to figure that out. But I was like doing all the,
All of it.
parenting conversation, all the marriage conversation, all the personal stuff, all the toxic work environment. And so I started
Hmm.
like following an astrologer on Instagram. And I was like, oh, wait, some of this kind of makes sense.
Hmm.
And I was like, but not, it doesn't make sense because I'm more practical. Like I'm a trained scientist. I was going to be a physician. So like
Hmm.
I got my
Hmm.
undergrad in the biosciences. And I rage quit my job the end of
Hmm.
2019 because I had a Me Too moment. Someone in leadership touched me, asked me for drinks, and then spent almost a year retaliating against me. And my soul was completely crushed. And I
Mm.
was like, fuck this shit, I'm out. And
Yeah.
at that point, my brain had me convinced that I only had two options: to stay in this toxicity and endure more of the bullshit, which it knew it had no more capacity for,
Hmm.
or to leave and trust
Hmm.
somehow that the universe was going to have my back. And that was the only mantra that like actually brought me peace in that moment, was the universe is going to have my back. And I had no idea what that meant at that time.
Thank you for opening up and sharing all of that. One of my main missions with this podcast is to have incredibly strong moms and women like you on here who aren't afraid to say what you've gone through. Because I think a lot of us have been in similar situations where we only change when it's a reaction to something that isn't going well, right? Whereas, you even mentioned from the very beginning, like breastfeeding was freaking hard, right? And so from the beginning of this journey, you were already thinking, I'm the problem, and just
Mhm.
kind of powering through.
Yeah.
And I believe women are the reason why we are the ones that have the babies, are because we are very strong and we have a very high threshold for pain. And we do have this incredible internal battle. How can I be better? How can I change? I'm the problem, it's me, right? And then what happens is, even though we change, even though we do all the things, we have the best car, the best house, the best jean size, the best holiday Christmas card, still we're still human and we're still on a battle to figure out
Oh,
why we're
yeah.
here and what we're doing. So let me just try and dig into this a little bit, because I'm so thankful you had some key people along your path, right? Your
Mm.
OBGYN to kind of bring this to the forefront and tell you, like, hey, that there's some red flags I'm seeing. I think you should get
Mhm.
some help. And then you found a therapist, somebody you clearly are still in a relationship with. So it's obviously a good one.
Mhm.
But I think there's this true story that it's comes more than one thing, right? You have more than one thing that you've grown into that's helping you. So can you talk about, like, how did you allow that perception of yourself to shift? Right? Because in the beginning, you were like, I'm a badass. I'm going to do everything. I can do it all by myself and I
Yeah.
am going to figure it out.
Mhm.
Now you still are figuring shit out, but you're inviting and allowing some people to come in. It's been a long time, but how can you, if you can look back and kind of connect the dots, can you think of anything where you're like, oh, I see how that really helped me? Because maybe there's a mom out there who's sitting here thinking, do I need help? Could
Yeah.
I accept help?
Mhm. It's really hard as a badass of any magnitude to think that you need to be vulnerable enough to ask for help. And, if we go back even to the breastfeeding, because I know a lot of women struggle with
It's
breastfeeding.
very hard.
And,
Very hard. And it hurts. And it's
oh
okay if it
my
hurts.
God, it
Gosh,
hurts so
like it
bad.
hurts. Yeah.
I went to the La Leche League in Seattle when Declan was first born every Monday. Like that was my homework, right? And I was supplementing with formula because my kid was hungry like all the time. And she's like, your kid's gaining too much weight. You need to stop that.
Ugh,
And here I was asking for help and, like,
shaming.
obviously one of our most
Shame.
vulnerable moments as women, right? And you're gonna sit there and criticize me like I'm not doing it right? Like, fuck off. Like, I'm sorry. And so we get scared to ask for help. We get
Yeah.
scared to be
Yeah.
vulnerable because we don't want to experience that kind of criticism and rejection when we literally like it's all we can do to get our kid in the car. Like this is the perfect analogy to drive across Seattle to sit here with 10 other women with our tits out hoping that we can figure this the fuck out. Okay? Like you're no more vulnerable. Like you may as well be in childbirth at the moment. It's the same level of
Right.
vulnerability.
Right.
So
Could you
when I
feel
got
more insecure in that moment? Could you literally have more self-doubt in that moment? Right?
right. Mhm. So, if I fast forward and think, sorry, I'm taking you on kind of my little
Love
journey
it.
with me here through this. If
Keep
I
it.
fast
Keep it
forward
going.
to my Nordstrom story about rage quitting, I did try and take legal action. I did have a number of people who observed what happened to me, and I did have HR involved, and I did have all of the things. And then I also quickly had no one who would corroborate my story. And so it's almost the same kind of experience where women wouldn't stand up with me to say, this is fucked up. And I've never made that connection, Scotty, until right here. So we knew this was going to be
Yeah, we
powerful,
knew this
but
was good. Oh my gosh.
it's, it's literally the same energy. And
Hmm.
so I had a lawyer
Hmm.
here in Seattle who was like, Lauren, you 100% I mean, I was a high achiever. I had 2 promotions in, like, 3 years. I was getting, like, bonuses out the yin yang, like, I mean, I was the pinnacle of the definition of success on the outside, and I felt like everything was a house of cards on the inside. And so when I needed and wanted some of these people to come forward and, just say, hey, like this happened and I witnessed this, nobody would do that. So it was like a double gut punch, right? Because I just blew up my identity as a corporate badass and I wanted somebody to help me, and nobody was there to do that. So I invested about $20,000 in legal fees, which was a lot when you don't have a job. It was essentially all of my PTO that got paid out at that time. And 2 weeks later, I turned 40 years old, which just feels fucked
Hmm.
or felt fucked. I was like, this is how I'm starting my 40s. This is going to be a great decade because I already don't want to experience this. And I already didn't want to experience everything I had. And I'm sitting there going, I have no idea what to do. I don't want to go back to corporate America in any way, shape, or form. It is toxic. It is this, it is that. And 2 weeks later, it was literally January 2nd or 3rd because my birthday is Christmas Eve. I was registering for an astrology school scholarship because I couldn't afford shit at that time. Mhm.
And it's right now where you are, we're in this beautiful place where you can look back and say, I'm glad it didn't work out at Nordstrom. I'm glad that didn't work out. I'm glad I faced this challenge. I'm glad, it's hindsight is 2020. I'm just so thankful though that you also just never gave up, right? I think it's easy for a mom specifically to look around that La Leche room and think, gosh, that she's sleeping through the night. She's not having any problems. They're not having, okay, they're not crying. They don't have shit on the back of their shirt. Like what? They're not rage
I went
eating
to work one
Cheez-Its
day
in the
with like
bathroom.
spit up.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Right? And I think so there's this interesting place where I believe a mom can live, where she lives in this non-reality that she's put herself in. Like, I have it all together. See my hair? It's
Mhm.
beautiful. See my face? I clean the baseboards. But that's not really how her life is looking. It's like we kind of put forth in real life the Instagram polished photo. Like, I am great on the outside, but on the inside, the house of cards, we're falling
Mhm.
apart and we are leaking confidence on the daily, right? But also
Mhm.
just trying to muster through with a bottle of wine and some,
Extra
housewives
coffee,
marathons, extra coffee.
housewives. Yeah,
And
but
then I
it's like
think
that's
what go
go
ahead.
ahead, sorry. No, no.
I just think what happens is we hold back to say how it really is going, right? Like, I'm
Mhm.
so happy that you guys are having a good time, but I'm also fucking jealous and I'm pissed. I'm having a hard time, right? And I think there's this interesting place where we don't want to admit to ourselves that this motherhood thing, this job thing, this life thing isn't really as good as we dreamed it was going to be. I mean, for the longest time, I love my kids. I did not like being a mom. And for me to admit that I didn't like being at home with my kids, raising them in the very beginning, I couldn't say that for years because of the
Mhm,
backlash that I was going to get from my mom, from social
mhm,
media, from everybody
mhm.
else. But then there was that one mom who said, "Oh my God, same, samesies,
Yeah,
girl."
yeah.
Like, and that's all I needed to know. Like, oh, I'm not alone here. So I just thank you for sharing your story and that it didn't even work out the first time. It didn't work out the second time, right? Like you still are fighting, but it's like, how can we make sure that we don't give up the fight? That how can we make sure that we are still working at the end of the day, no matter what hat we're wearing, if it's the corporate hat, the mom hat, anything, that we're still trying to be ourselves, right?
I
So,
have the I have the answer. One
oh,
of
okay,
them.
great. Okay,
Not the
good. Go,
silver
go, go.
bullet, not the silver bullet answer because I don't believe in those, but I wanted so much to be seen. I wanted
Hmm.
so much for people to see me. And that was my biggest learning as to why I was stomping my feet and making such a scene about how I was being perceived by Nordstrom and the leadership and all that and why I left. I wanted somebody to say, "What happened to you is fucked up."
Yeah.
I am so sorry that I wanted somebody to have the compassion for me that I, at that moment, could not even have for myself.
Yeah.
And so it's crazy that us as moms and women and all the all the roles that we play, we're willing to bear the crushing vice of life. And then there's this deep down part of us, and it might not be everyone. And if it's not you, Scotty, like maybe I'm talking out my ass here, but there's going to be a
Mm-mm.
mom out there that resonates with this. I just want somebody to really like let me know that they understand where I'm at
Uh-huh.
and what it's
100%.
actually taking to navigate through this.
100%. It's a basic human right. We want to feel seen. We want to belong. We want to feel loved. We want to get nutrition, right? Like there's just a basic human needs. I think it's
Yeah.
why everybody places a lot of weight on how many likes they're getting. It's not because they're vain. It's not because they're dicks. It's because we're like, oh my gosh, I'm in a house by myself. I'm only
Right.
talking in poop schedules and laundry times. I want
Yeah.
to put something out
What
there
I'm
and
making
have
for
another
dinner.
person, right? Or what we're having for dinner. I want somebody else to say, "Yeah, girl, I see you." So I think
Yeah.
there's that awareness is really powerful because
Yeah.
we all are chasing something and it gets hidden. And I mean this in the most loving way, but it's like, I want to lose 10 pounds.
Mhm.
Why?
Mhm.
Yeah, I want to look fucking hot in my bikini. Why? If you dig deeper, I think a lot of the times, if we really, really did the work, it would come back to a lot of, I want to feel seen. I want to be connected. I want to feel like I belong. I don't
Mhm.
want to be on the outside looking in on my life anymore. And if
Mhm.
I don't have these external things, I still feel like I'm on the outside. So when
Mhm.
now that the being seen and when you're learning this about yourself and you're realizing, and astrology was a really helpful tool for you to realize this, like it's not outside of you. It's not the horoscope. It's not the
Yep.
10 pounds. I'm sorry to say. It's not the size of
Not
the jeans. I'm sorry to say. It's not the car in the driveway. But when you do the work to identify that lack, right? Like where you are really feeling it, then you
Mhm.
can start to understand how you can give it to yourself. Did astrology help you understand that about you?
Yeah, so my moon sign, and that's why I focus mostly on the moon, right? Like my Pisces moon is super sensitive. She feels a lot of stuff. She's also highly intuitive. We love that about her. But it really was the mirror of
Hmm.
what what is real here, right? You and I know because of the work and the certification that we're working through, not everything that we're telling ourselves or feeling like is actually real. It just feels really real and raw and hard. And so I went way down the astrology rabbit hole. I know more about astrology than I care to admit, but I also figured out I'm really fucking good at holding space for people. Like, wow.
Hmm.
Because the astrology I
Hmm.
studied was esoteric astrology, which is psychology based. So
Mm.
I started doing readings and I started channeling information, and I like
Love
a
it.
whole different side of me, like, that I never I mean, I was
Hmm.
tapping her down so hard because deep down I knew, right? And that whole witnessing yourself when you want someone else to witness you, like, I couldn't witness myself. I couldn't witness how miserable I was, or how the good girl, like, was always trying to contort herself. I used to call myself Gumby because I would contort myself into all these different
Sure.
versions of me for whomever I was trying to appease.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, I mean, astrology just gave me a sense of the time, the energetic, I call it the cosmic tides of life, the energetic ebbs and flows where different themes were coming up and showing me things. And if I would say astrology, if you're 35 or older, is a really powerful tool to look back on your life. It's
Hmm.
powerful for everyone, but the more you go, the the further down you go in your lifetime, the more insights you can glean. And so I had a theme around health. I'm a two-time ovarian cancer survivor, and that was very much in my astrological chart around my Saturn cycles. My Pisces moon was obviously really big, and then my Cancer rising of really learning how to take care and honor myself was like the third piece that I'm like, damn, like that's a lot.
It's a lot. And so I do want to touch on, what you just said. You're a two-time ovarian cancer survivor.
Yeah.
What do you what is something that you want moms to know about the power of their body? Right? Like that understanding the communication, right? Like
Mhm.
understanding how important it is for us to include our body in our daily conversation, even if the signs it's sending us might feel negative, right? Like even if
Mhm.
the signs are I'm not happy or I'm not sleeping through the night or, there's some pain in my body.
Mhm.
It's like I think there's this connection that gets lost as
Mhm.
moms are working so hard to be selfless for
Yeah.
everybody else. Like you
Yep.
said, we know how to give, we know how to see people,
Yep.
we know how to hold people, we know how to
Yep.
carry people,
Yep.
but then over time, we lose touch with how to see and care and set boundaries for ourselves. Can you talk about the importance of our bodies in this relationship?
Yeah, I mean, our bodies are always telling us, right? And I have never read the book The Body Keeps Score, but if there is something, a health issue in your life, I would strongly recommend that you look at those types of tools and modalities. I have a weird relationship with ovarian cancer, especially what I feel about it. Um, which is a weird thing to say. I know first happened at 21
Hmm.
in
So
college. Like I
young.
went to
Wow.
yeah, I was really young. I had one ovary removed then. So I only had one child because that's all I was meant to have. My child was two and
Hmm.
a half. I had just started at Nordstrom. My child was 2.5, and I had to have a full hysterectomy because essentially my ovarian cancer markers started going through the roof. And my doctor at the time was like, Lauren, you had the perfect pregnancy and you have a great kid. And I mean, of course, my child and his darling little Cancer moon, like, he's like, Mom, I want all the brothers and sisters I could possibly have. And like, he's angry with me for this. But to get back to and
Hmm.
I'm like, he gets it, but it's also like,
Yeah,
it's hard. But to
it's
get back
hard.
to your question, um, we got to tune in. We got to
Hmm.
pause, and we got to learn to listen, because you're
Hmm.
gonna all of these things around our subconscious mind, as you know, and around astrology, as I'm going to drop like it's hot right here. It's all about patterns and cycles. We learn the
Hmm.
same thing over and over. It keeps coming to the surface over and over and over until we decide we're going to change it. You're going to get the toxic boss. You're going to have the toxic relationship. You're going to have the same fight with your kid. Like you're going to have the same health issue if you decide, like, if you haven't done the
Mm.
listening and the shift of perspective and the like witnessing, right? Like this is where astrology really
Hmm.
taught me to detach from
Hmm.
the story I was telling myself about all the resentment that I had lived through and the resentment that I was carrying, because there was some heavy shit. Like, I mean, yeah, I had ovarian cancer. Yeah, I rage quit my job, but there was a lot more than that in the rear view. And that was my whole survive. I can survive. I'm gritty. I'm a badass. Like that was the hard part of me. But
Yeah.
what astrology started to do for me was the softening of like, wait, my
Softening.
journey's really unique. wait, like
Mm,
it all didn't happen to me. And what I teach is it happened for me. It actually
mm-hmm,
brought me, I'm going to even just say to this moment, having this conversation with you
mm-hmm,
today that's giving
mm-hmm.
women out there the perspective of like, wow, what if I could accept it as it happened for me instead of to me? Like what would that feel like? It would feel like
Right.
power instead of shit.
Yeah. And unstuckness, right? What does the
Yeah,
frustration do? It just tells you that you can't do something, right? And I love that you had that grit because it's probably what got you the job at Nordstrom, right? That everybody
for
told you
sure.
that you couldn't have. It's the reason why you know you have the strength to survive cancer twice and why you know and deep down the universe does have your back and that things it allows you to have this trust that yes, your son might have wanted 3 and 4 siblings. That's not the journey and there's a reason why. Maybe we don't
Yeah.
know the reason yet. And I believe the same thing. I think for a long time I really had this one definition of pain. Pain meant that I was failing at something. Pain meant that something was wrong with me and that it needed to go away as quickly as possible. How did
Right.
I need to
Ignore.
contort
Hmm.
to make the pain go away? Maybe that pain
Yep.
was even someone talking shit about me or me about not being or my kid not being invited to the birthday party. Now that I'm learning how to grow up a little bit. Um I'm st- I'm starting to see pain as information. Like
Yeah.
what is this coming? What is this trying to grab my attention to focus on?
Yep.
It's like, why am I staying up till 2 a.m. scrolling TikTok? What am I getting from that? What am I
Yep.
missing in my life? It's not that I'm a bad mom and I can't wake up and have energy. What am I missing in my everyday life that I
Yep.
can give to myself? It's a beautiful reframe. It takes practice, just like
A
going to
lot
the
of
gym,
practice. A
holding a
lot of
plank,
practice.
right?
Yes.
You don't get it first time. But when you learn what it is you need to thrive, you can then start to put yourself around people who are similar. So it
Yeah.
makes these conversations easier, right? So I know that if I said to you, Lauren, I'm having a really hard time, I'm struggling through this, you'd be like, all right, talk to me. I can
Yeah.
hold space for you. Let's get through
Yeah.
this, right?
Well, and let's
Versus you
get down to what the
gaslighting
real
me.
problem is, right? Like, what
Let's
is
get
the
down to the real
actual real
problem.
problem? Because
Mm-hmm.
that's what we
Mm-hmm.
are truly bypassing as we associate. And I was just talking about this online the other day because triggers came up. It was the Scorpio full moon a couple days ago, and everybody was getting like a couple people I am close to were getting really effing triggered. And I was like, I got online and I was like, we got to talk about triggers. 95% of a trigger has nothing to do with your actual current experience. It's all under the subconscious shit that has been going on in the background. And when you start to recognize the connection between your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, your experience, when you even just get that little bit, and like my mind was kind of blown when I first started learning this, and I was like, wait, what? Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, they're all
Yeah.
independent. But when you start recognizing that they're part of the patterning, like that's where you're like, wait, I have the I opportunity to show up in this differently? What?
Yeah.
Like, I could
Yeah.
think about this differently? That emotion coming up, that trigger is showing me where I have some shit to clean up in the best possible way that serves primarily me first. That feels like power, sis.
Talk about being seen, right?
Talk about
Talk
it.
about really being
Yeah.
seen, right? Like that
Mhm.
is you're seeing your shit real truthfully, right? Like you're
Yeah.
really opening up and saying, talk to me. What is it that I'm meant to be seeing from this trigger, from this pain, from this self-doubt, this insecurity? And as soon as we can get over that there's such a thing as bad emotion and a good emotion, and we can just see it as all emotion information and here to help us, think about how that's going to help us help raise our kids. Like
Yeah.
when they're not with us, right? I think moms are always so concerned. I have to be perfect and do the perfect thing, perfect. I have to say the perfect thing and look the perfect way. Honestly, the majority of our kids' life is going to be when they're not with us, period.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that that voice that they have in their head, that's us talking to them, is that badass voice. It's like, you can fucking figure it out.
Yeah.
How is this happening for you? How can we look at this and see this challenge, this obstacle, this hurdle that it's meant for you? It's the universe nudging you. It's the universe. It's your body teaching you. It's your body communicating with you. It's trying to save you. How can we see that?
Yeah.
And I think we have to go first. That's always my mantra. It's like, we have to go first.
Yeah.
We have to learn how to swim before we can teach our kids how to swim, right? And that's what you've done in such a beautiful way. And I really appreciate you are being honest that it has not been flawless, right?
Oh,
You
it's
have
been far
had,
from flawless. And I
but
just
it's,
want to tack on a couple things to what you just said, because you could translate that to a toxic positive. Oh, this is an opportunity. Like, let's just fix it. And like, I am not here for the
mm-hmm.
toxic positivity. So I want
Yeah.
to be super clear. I fell the fuck apart after leaving Nordstrom, after learning astrology. I was in the deepest, darkest depression I have ever experienced. And my kid, COVID happened like literally at the same time.
Double
And
whammy.
so we're home and I'm sitting on my like going to our guest room, meditating every day, trying to like duct tape myself back together. And he's just watching me like and I'm trying to keep it together. Right. Like, but he saw my humanity and he
Mm.
saw me learning to be softer with myself and
Mm.
acknowledging where I'm at. Hey,
Mm.
buddy, like, mom's having a hard day. Mom's having a lot of emotions. Mom's navigating some tough stuff. And it was always like, hey, mom, I mean, he was 8 at the time, right? Hey, mom, do you need a hug?
Oh,
Hey,
bless
mom,
his
like, do you
heart.
want to do
Wow.
that? Like,
Wow.
but this is where like our kids have to see, like, yeah, the resilient sides of us that are the badasses, but they also have to see the humanity of how we show up in the face of adversity when our life is feeling like the rug got pulled out from under us.
They need to see the sun and the moon, right? They need.
I love that. That's actually like the perfect ending to our time together. They need to see the sun and they need to see the moon.
I have goosebumps.
Me too. I've had
You're
goosebumps this
amazing.
whole time, sis.
You're
Oh my
amazing.
God.
I could talk to you forever. We'll probably have you on again. How can everybody find you? Where can they find you? Because
You can
they're
find
going to be
me
obsessed.
everywhere. I'm mostly on Instagram these days,
Okay.
Lauren Degolia. I have a website. I'm as part of this anchored certification that is happening in like T minus 17 days or something ridiculous. I'm flying to Boston. I'm doing a
Love it.
whole photo shoot. Like, I really feel like I'm stepping into my next expansive era and how I serve and how I show up. And I just like, it's mind blowing. And this is how it goes. So let's end on this. Everyone thinks when they're starting this journey of becoming a version of themselves that they have this pinnacle, North Star. This is who I desire. And while that's a beautiful sentiment, she really fucks you up a little bit. And
The
here's
end.
why. The end. She fucks you up because you start measuring everything against her. And that's where you start comparing yourself to other people. Oh, she has this. Oh, she has that. Oh, she's figured this out. Oh, I haven't figured this out. So I want you to just, my only unsolicited piece of advice here is figure out what this version needs and how to like neutralize or create more peace for this version. Because as you master that part of your self-mastery journey, every version after this, because you're not going to just be that one version you're holding in your vision right now. You're going to be about 400 versions of her. But you're going to get to that place at some point if you take this from a self-mastery. Like, I am just here to become the best version of myself. And I'm going to use all these tools, astrology, hypnosis, tapping, Akashic, like health, wellness, like that's your job. That's your only gig here, is to figure out how to master yourself. You can do that. You're going to feel more satisfaction over the course of your life than you can even comprehend.
Yeah. And way more fun.
And way more fun, because you're going to be like, fuck this shit I don't want to do because I'm that version of me. This version of me does not subscribe. Unsubscribe.
Oh my gosh. I love it. You're amazing.
Right.
I
You're
really appreciate you
amazing.
spending this time opening up, being brutally honest. And I know you've shifted a mom's life today. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having
Badass.
me. Love you. You're a badass. Talk to you soon.
Produced and distributed by the Sound Off Media Company.